To reopen the country, I first and foremost, it's all about safety first, and making sure that when you reopen, you don't have to go back to having to shut it down again, right?
Right.
So when you're addressing a problem, you have to always look at the practicality of your solution. Whatever solution you put forth, it has to really address the problem, and then that requires you to have a good understanding of the problem, right? So that's basically learning a lot about the problem. And what we've been learning is that the disease can come back in the fall, right? In the fall
Mm.
time, in the winter time, it will come back in the fall. So reopening, like rushing to reopen now because you don't want the economy to tumble down, you will end up having to shut down again. You get what I mean?
Mm.
So
Right.
why don't you let people go through the pain upfront when they're psychologically ready to do so, right?
Right.
Than to go out there and give them a false sense of security that we can reopen and then end up having to shut down again because that's what was going to happen. And you have a situation where it's election year, so it's all about politics and it's all about holding the economy. But good policy makes good politics. And what is good now is having the economy, if whatever it is, having the federal government, one, making sure that bills are frozen. You know what I mean? There might be essential bills that needs to be paid, but people have mortgages, freeze those mortgages, or as someone suggested, you can freeze them or you could postpone them. You could, so if you miss 3 months and you are supposed to finish your mortgage in 10 years, make it 10 years and 3 months.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You post date the bills
Right.
so that you still owe the same amount. You just kind of like freeze this time in moments in time, right? So that
Kind of
people could
like
be able to,
credit.
yeah, people. So freeze all sorts of credits, push everything back the number of months or the duration that it would take to get this addressed, right? Because the biggest stress for most people is the money
Right.
and the money and being able to pay bills, and people want to go out and want to do this, all these things that people want to go out and do, but they feel, hamstringed by the shelter in place laws, right? And the jobs are not there, and that this is not there, and that is gone. And so freezing that takes a lot of stress off people. Now, there might be people who want to just go get a haircut. Those people, they just cuckoo, right?
Yeah.
But people who really are really suffering are people who need to pay their bills but don't have their jobs anymore. And this one-time check does not, even if you live in California, 1,200 doesn't even touch anything. I haven't even gotten my money yet, right?
Right.
And so you have people who are really suffering. That's one, making sure that there's enough money that will come monthly from the federal government, because that's the only entity that can has the money to be able to do that, right? So freeze everything. Make sure that you have people working on the vaccines, people working on the cure. There's more R&D. There's more testing. More importantly, testing, because people do not know their status. So if you're testing, you get to get a good sense of who's positive. Now, when you're testing, you don't just test anybody with any test. You test with the ones with antibodies, right?
Right.
You do the antibodies test. When you do the antibodies test, what it does is, if you have antibodies, then you know that you got it before and your body fought it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you got it before, then that shows you, it gives you a sense of the contact people, that's contact tracing. Because so then if I've gotten it before, then we need to test the people that, you know, I've come into contact with before that. Just, so if you went to go see this person, you went to hang out with that person, those people need to be tested as well. So you do the antibody testing to just get a sense of who